Hello YouTube, this is a video review of the M-Audio Mobilepre Mk2. That's the second generation Mobilepre. So I'll just take you through right now the front inputs on this unit. You have two dual TRS and XLR inputs, which is very convenient, so you can swap guitars, synthesizers, and microphones to whichever input. Here you've got your front and rear input selector. So if you press down the first input, it'll switch to the line input number 1 on the back, and the same thing goes for the second one. You have your direct monitor button, which allows you to, like, if you're using the program as a guitar amp, you can use it to test your effects. And then there's also the headphone jack. I have an adapter for it since it's the 1/4-inch jack. To use my headphones up there, I need the adapter. On the top, you have your channel 1 gain. I usually keep it in the center. Channel 2 gain, headphone volume, and line output volume. So the line output, you can hook that up to your studio monitors if you have some. The line inputs are for stuff that you can always keep plugged in, like drum machines or synthesizers. So you can keep it plugged in and then switch it with the front buttons here. Here's the USB input, which plugs into your computer, and there's also phantom power, which is very handy. So then you can use any condenser microphone that you want. So that's the unit itself. So next I'll talk to you guys about the program. So the Mobilepre Mk2 comes with Pro Tools SE, which is, it's like Pro Tools, except there's some limitations, like the number of simultaneous tracks you can have, the number of effects, virtual instruments, stuff like that. And the one thing that is kind of annoying is that you can only use M-Audio products. So if you wanted to use a different kind of interface that's not M-Audio, then it won't work with Pro Tools SE. But this will work with, the unit itself will work with other programs. So this is the startup screen for Pro Tools SE. See, there are different sessions that you can start out with, like an empty session, piano, guitar, and what it does is just loads it with certain virtual instruments and certain audio tracks with effects. And then there are tutorials. Avid put out tutorials on YouTube, which helped a lot. I had already ordered this online, and while it was shipping, I watched all the tutorials, so when I got it, I knew how to use it already. So let's open a new session. We'll do empty session. See, it starts off with a grand piano in the key of C major, tempo 120, time signature 4/4. So, okay, here's your interface. Up here are all your editing tools. Then you've got the time, other stuff, play, record, forward, back, stop. This little button right here, that is the metronome button. It took me a while to find it, and it was pissing me off. So here, these yellow ones are your virtual instruments. So you can go here, and you can select all of the instruments. Let's say I want strings and big strings. Let's do fretless bass. We'll try that. Then while this one is selected, you go down here and you click on this, and it brings up the piano roll. So hopefully this will you can sort of hear that. And then you can select things down here. I don't know, I'm just doing random stuff. And then extend the notes. Come on. This probably isn't going to sound good. So then you start from the beginning, hit play. Oh, I set off my doorbell. Okay, so it goes all the way down. There's a big range. yeah, I got a subwoofer on this. I'm using the a Logitech Z506 surround sound. So I've got a subwoofer down there, and it's hooked up to this because when you have it plugged into your computer, all of your audio comes out of this, so you can't use headphones through the headphone jack. It's got to come through here, so I just have a stereo plugged into my surround sound. I'm planning on getting some studio monitors soon, so I can use the back inputs for that. The one thing that I find sort of unrealistic with this is that you can go really high with a fretless bass. Yeah, it doesn't really sound like a fretless bass. Sounds like a piano, a really bad piano. But once you create your sequence, you can change it. So if you have just a piano and then you want to change the style of the song, you can just make it a synth, and it'll totally change it. It's pretty good quality. The guitars I'm not too happy with. It sounds pretty cheesy and not that great. I'd rather just play it myself. But yeah, there's tons of stuff that you can experiment with. You know, pan flutes. Got all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so the virtual instruments are just fantastic, and as far as recording goes for amateurs. So right here, you've got the stereo loops. So you click on this button right here to bring up your loops. Go to Factory. Then there's all sorts of stuff. Let's see, rock and pop. Let's go to guitar, and then here it has all the waves, so you can sort of see what it's going to be like. See how the bar's moving across? I don't like to use loops just because I think it's lame. I know a lot of people go and put loops together and say, "Oh, I created a song." Well, no you didn't, because they're pre-made loops. The only loops I'll really consider using are drum loops. You know, if I don't want to sequence my own drum part, then I'll just use a loop that sounds good. The next one down is your audio, which is recorded through the inputs. And yeah, and then here you can go to settings and add effects. I have one that I made, or a few that I made. It starts off with, you know, bass, guitar, drums, and then I have a drop D and a hard rock special. I don't know, random name. So here it loads my effects. I have a guitar amp. So you can see the settings right here. You can have up to 3 effects on one audio track. So I've got a guitar amp and then a lo-fi, and I can add a second one, or a third one, sorry. There's chorus, compressor, distortion, dynamic delay. I don't want to say all of them. The gate actually works pretty well. It takes a while to adjust it to the right level, and you might need to adjust the gain right here. You might need to adjust the gain to get it right, but it works pretty good. The reverb is also fantastic. Okay, and then here's the master. It's just, you can use it for effects for the entire song. Like if you want fuzz for all the parts, then you can do that. And it's for volume control, so it doesn't clip, or if you want it to clip for the style. But yeah, that's all you do for the master. So you can go up here, go to track. You can create a new audio track, stereo if you want loops, or mono if you're recording from a guitar or a bass, or a microphone. But it's stereo is just for loops, so I'll cancel that. So alright, I'll be back in a minute to show you how the guitar effects sound. Alright, so So here, I've got my guitar plugged into the input 1, and I have the effects. Right here I've got the guitar amp with these settings and a lo-fi. So I have it on record so I can hear it, and I also have the direct monitor plugged in. So I'll set the camera down and show you how it sounds a little bit. So the effects are pretty good. It can sound a little muddy. What I like to do sometimes is use the line output and plug a guitar cable in and hook it up to my amp, and so I can add more distortion on my amp if I want to. But then I need a condenser to record out of that, which I don't have, but I might get soon. So I'll show you some clean. Hold on, let's go. So I just changed it to a preset that was already in it. So now I've got a guitar amp and reverb. So the clean is really good. I think it's performance worthy. You know, if you got this on a laptop and hooked it up, I think it would be legit. If you just got hooked it up to a cab, I'd use it. I haven't really tried some of the other presets. Let's try metal. Never tried this. It sounds nothing like metal. That sounds absolutely nothing like metal. So, I would just make your own. Yeah, it's not even all the way up. And I like my presets better than theirs. So, you can just use whatever you want. So the guitar effects are really good. I've tried the bass effects. A friend of mine plays the bass, and he tried them and he loved them. Yeah. So you can definitely use it as a guitar amp. You can use it to record. So much stuff. I've done a few songs already, and it turned out fantastic. So yeah. So if you're interested in this, I would definitely consider buying it. It's a great way to spend $150. I got it on Musician's Friend, and it shipped pretty quickly. Good packaging. Nothing really happened with it. But yeah, Pro Tools SE is a very good program. If you want to upgrade, you might want to get a Pro Tools MkII, which is another cut-down version of Pro Tools, except not nearly as much as SE. Pro Tools is like a lot of money in Pro Tools. HD is even more. Pro Tools also works on Mac, but if you're going to get a Mac, or if you have a Mac, you can also use GarageBand, which is directed more towards people with less of a musical background. You might want to consider getting Logic Express or Logic Studio. A friend of mine has that and he loves it. So yeah, definitely worth getting. See you guys.